So I'm gonna start this conversation like this. I'm gonna give you examples of what a career path might look like. Now, I'm gonna go into education. You could start as a teacher, end up as a curriculum coordinator, and then you might find yourself as an assistant principal. And then later on, if you are in the education sector in the country, then you might see yourself being the principal. Then from there, probably you could grow all the way up to whatever it is you want to take it. Let me give you an example also of a career path in a restaurant. You will start as a dishwasher, which is very, very okay. Then you go to a prep cook, then you might end up as a line cook, then all the way to an executive chef. So the entire process is not essentially defined, but then if you choose that career path, then there are steps that you really gotta take to be there. This morning on the Morning Drift, we do have a career coach with us here, just to help you understand how to pick a career path. What is that process? What is a career? What is a career path as well? That's exactly what it is that we want to talk about this morning, and we are so much blessed this morning. I say that because indeed it's not, most times that you get a career coach coming to you freely to give you this information. So get your pens and papers out. And for the parents who are taking their kids to school today to join Form 1 and the entire of this week, some of those things need to be clear to them as well. All right, help me then welcome to the conversation Ekrah Ndungu, who is a career coach. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Happy to have you around.
Thank you.
Let's begin from a very basic level, and I'll give you my personal example. I actually wasn't exposed to these conversations about careers and career paths until I realized that accidentally I knew exactly where I wanted to end up at. How important it is, therefore, to talk about careers and career paths. When should we start talk about it? And I'm speaking in respect to the parents now who have to take their kids to school and help them get into higher education. And why is it important for us to have this conversation?
Oh, thank you for having me on set. For the benefit of the viewer, I think it would be good I introduce myself.
Yes.
My name is Dr. Ekrah Ndungu. I am an educationist. I run an institution called German Institute of Professional Studies. I serve as Secretary General for the Kenya National Association of Private Colleges. I've been involved in the formation of the TVET strategy in the country, and I am a founder board member of Career Guidance Institute, and we did the first ever career conference in Kenya in the year 2020.
Yes.
And we have started the conversation of careers and putting career professionals together. The conversation on careers, it needs to start as early as primary school, because this is very, very important for people to know who they want to become and be that and be happy with it. You will find in this country, you find somebody in their 40s, they are still finding their north.
Yes.
They are still not excited with what they do every day. That waking up every day is another punishment because you just don't like your corner office. That's not who you are created to be. And choosing a career path also comes in line with your natural gifts. Everybody was given something by God that they need to accomplish on this earth. So whatever you do, you need to be successful in it. If it is becoming a policeman, become the best that there can be. If it is a politician, become the best that there can be. If it's a soldier, become the best that there can be. If it's a doctor, become the best that there can be. If it's a nurse, and you be passionate with what you do every day.
Yes.
This moment, I know some parents may feel disappointed, some students may feel disappointed, because we have pegged success to grades. Somebody thinks that for me to become successful, I need to score these beautiful grades. Academics is good, because I'm also a parent, and actually a Form 1 parent. So grades are important, but at the end of it all, it doesn't mean everything. Everything is not pegged to the grades.
Yes.
So for those who didn't score very beautiful grades, like you got a D, a strong D+, you got an E, it is not that you're not intelligent, it's only that you are tested for things that you're not passionate about. If you got a test of what you're passionate about, you'd have scored an A. So choosing a career path will need to start with, what do I love doing? And we are in an era whereby we just believe in the conventional careers. I've listened to you start the intro. Your intro was a hotelier, was a teacher. Because these are the conventional careers health, that we know. Health. Yes. So if the prestigious career that we know is law, I'm taking law, I'm doing medicine, which is good because we need all these practitioners.
Yes.
But there are also other upcoming careers. And remember, we are headed for the 5th industrial revolution. So within no time, 60% of the careers will be phased out through automation. So you also have to be very cautious as you pick your career. Is this something that you can do lifetime? Will you be able to do it in the next 10 years? Or it will be some of the careers that will be phased out.
Yes.
And this is available. I know you're a journalist. You can look for this. You can look at the World Economic Forum, I think, for the past 2 years,
yes,
talking about the future of work. Where are we headed? What is the future of work in Africa? Because we are living in a global village. So as you make the decision of picking a career, stop thinking about the village that you come from. Stop thinking about the county that you come from. You should be able to work anywhere in the world with the skills that you will get.
Yes.
And looking at our country, we are big in exporting labor because we've exported labor all over the world. So it is very, very critical for parents to make these decisions, not in haste and not in copying. Some students just ask each other, hey, which course are you taking?
I also want to take that.
IT, then very fast. Or they go. We've had cases whereby a student goes, they're enrolling for a course, then they go and check the queues for this is very long, this is very short, then they go to the shortest queue.
They're going to go to the shortest one.
And they enroll for a course, then halfway they're like, no, this is not my cup of tea. And you find somebody at the age of 24, they have done 3-4 courses, and they still don't know their niche because they are trying out. Because life is not try and error. You have the luxury of time when you're young, but when you are shaping your future, that luxury of time is not there.
It goes away, isn't it?
Yes.
So let me dial it a little bit back then, and I want to put you on the spot. You said that you're a parent, and most of us now, these career decisions, career paths, that they were not left upon us to choose and decide on exactly what it is that we wanted to be. It was sort of imposed on us. I'll give you an example. Everyone had told my father that I wanted to be a journalist from a very young age because I would tell every time I watch TV, every time I listen to radio, every time I read a newspaper, I said, I want to do this. And I used to practice. I was in drama at a very young age. I used to tell my father, you see, I'm practicing to be a journalist. But it wasn't for that. I was like, no. I mean, you're going to pass, I know. And if you pass, then you've got to pick a proper course, either in medicine or engineering. But then I wasn't for that. Right now, when you look at your family, and I know you're at a position then to examine your kid and be like, this is the place you could end up in. Do you think that even when it comes to career paths and career training, that the parents themselves, first, the people have the responsibility to even fund the career path for their kids, they need to be informed on how to identify or help their kids know what they really want? Because some of them do not know.
Unfortunately, this parenting age, sometimes, I'm speaking this with all humility as a coach who meets parents every day, something that I've done the last 20 years, sitting down with parents and young people and trying to map a future for the young person. And unfortunately, most parents want to live their dream through their children. Yes. So these parents wanted to become a lawyer. That didn't happen. So they want their child to become a lawyer.
Kid is going to be a lawyer.
They wanted to do medicine. That didn't happen. So they force their children.
Can I have a doctor in this family?
Yes. And the adult peer pressure is huge. to the parents because they want to say, my son is doing law, my son is doing engineering, this one is doing architecture, this one is doing medicine. It's good introduction, but are they happy with what they are doing?
That's the question.
Will they succeed? I'm sure you've been able to walk into a hospital and you're in deep pain. And I'll give an example of myself. And here I go to a dentist and he has his headphones. He's just enjoying music. Because perhaps this person was supposed to be a musician.
Right.
That is what you'd do best. I'm sure you've seen that.
Yeah.
You go somewhere in a government office, you need help, or whatever office is even in private sector, somebody is in front office. This person is not a people's person. So the person talks to you like a militant. Because their personality is not cut.
It's not essentially for that career path.
It's not for that career path. You go find, these are the lawyers, they never show up and people end up going to prison because they were not supposed to be lawyers. So they are not even forcing themselves to do that every day just to have to put bread on their table. But you can see even the passion that you have even to ask me questions because what you're doing is what you love most.
Yes.
You are enjoying every bit of it. Because there is a saying that says, if you do what you love, you will never have to work a single day. So every day is fun. That is what you need to look for in a career. That's what you do every day is fun. It's not work.
So the bigger question then comes in the room, Dr. Ekrah. How do I start then to know what I really want? As I was reading around this particular subject or career path, and then they said, you see, your career is essentially going to be driven by your personal interests, what you like, what makes you wake up. And I meet a lot of people who tell me, like, dude, up to now, I've not really discovered what I really want. And there's a bigger percentage of people who are living like that. Up to a certain age, you're like, I still do not feel that my heart is beating to whatever it is that I'm doing. So how do you start, or for better analogy, predispose yourself to areas that might make you identify what it is that you like as a person, because that's where your career is going to come from?
It is okay not to know yourself. A self-discovery journey is a long journey. You'll find somebody even at 50, they are still not discovered themselves.
It's got no limit.
Yes, they don't know who they are.
Yeah.
And that moment is where the coaches come in.
Okay.
We come in to help you with that. Because you will come, you're blank, you don't know what you love, you have no idea what are your hobbies, you don't know where you can start. So we will sit down with you and perhaps do a psychometric test, and it's gonna give us exactly who you are and what you can be able to do with what you are. And we also need to train our children to become more expressive, to express and to say what you really think, to speak our mind, and to make sure that what they say also makes sense, because that's one of the best rules of life and the best rule of parenting. So that way they'll be able to start noticing, I love doing this, I love doing this, I love doing that. This is what I enjoy doing most. Because when you come, for example, you come to me and tell me, I want to discover what career I can be able to do. I tell you, unfortunately, we don't do it by word of mouth, by looking at you like this and say, you look like a journalist, you look like a nurse. No, it's not look. Let's sit down, let's do a scientific test and see what are your natural gifts. And allow me also to mention this for those in the Christian faith, and I'm sure the other faith of also they have something they can quote. If you look at Psalms 139:16, it says that all the days ordained for you were written before any of them came to be. That means there is something that God gave you even before you started existing. He knew what he wanted you to come and do to this world. So it is very critical and it is biblical to discover yourself so that you can fulfill that purpose. And to be able to fulfill that purpose, you sit with a coach and we do a psychometric test. I do the RIASEC model. We sit down, we get out of 142 careers, which are the best suit for your personality. We will even be able to tell whether you can become an entrepreneur or not.
Yes.
I'm sure in your age you have seen somebody who has started 7 businesses and none of it is working. And this is the moment that some of the clergy take advantage, and you have to keep on sowing seeds and seeds and seeds, so, thinking that you're bewitched. But basically, you are a personality that can only thrive in systems. Not everybody can become an entrepreneur. You can thrive where there are systems. These are intrapreneurs that you can only thrive where there is order, where you have all the resources. You'll become your best because that is your personality and that is how God wired you to be. There is somebody else, you give them just this right now.
Yes.
They would be selling your socks and you have them on because they are skilled. That is what they're given. And out of my speaking career and my mentorship across Africa, there are people that I envy and I wish they were our people. You sit down with a young 17-year-old Nigerian, because I do coaching all over, and they will tell you exactly who they want to become and why. I was doing a virtual coaching the other day. A student in Chris College in Nigeria asked them, what do you want to become? Said, I want to become a construction manager and I want to start my own company. How old are you? I am 16. I was like, I've never even thought that this is a profession that somebody can start working towards it. And ask them, why do you want to become that? I have researched and I've seen there is money in construction, and the people who make a lot of money are the structural engineers and what. They even had data of the why. So sit down with, on our end, very few we really even know what they love doing. Why? Because we do not expose them to such. We don't get into detail. We don't let them express themselves. And we want to live our dream through our children. For example, like me as a mentor, as a parent, it is good. I would also love to have a prestigious career in my family. It is normal. It's human. And when I sit down with my son, he tells me, I want to become a tech innovator. I'm like, okay, what is that? Yes, I want anything to do with technology. And then I'm like, do you know how fast this tech world moves? Before even you roll out your product, another one
the world has moved away from that.
But that is what I love doing. And I see him, he's always with his laptops and gadgets and everything. So I can see the interest. So the best thing that I can do is to support that, because that's what he loves doing. I look at my daughter, she tells me, I want to be a hotelier, what you've just mentioned. I would have loved to raise a lawyer because she's very argumentative. But that is what she wants. And she talks of hotels, industry, and what. And then every time she goes to a restaurant, she'll make corrections and she'll tell you, if I was the one, I would have done this. If I was the one, that I would have done this. So what can I do? I can only support that, because that is where that child will be happy. And that is what they love doing every day. I love talking to people. That is what I love doing every day, and sitting down with a young person and making sure that they are able to chart their path towards their success, and they be happy and they be contented with what they do every day. So if all of us were to love what we do every day, including our politicians and our leaders, and every day that what you're doing is what you love most, we would have even less of people wanting to get into coffers of things that are not theirs, because what they are doing is with passion, and what they are doing is service.
Pretty much. It's a good thing that you've touched on a particular aspect that I wanted to ask you in the second part of our conversation, but since you've touched on it, let me just delve right into it. I was speaking to a parent yesterday. By the way, they're watching. His name is James. Just took their kid to Form 1 yesterday, and he was complaining about how much they were getting asked for uniform. Told me it cost $15,500 to dress a kid to go to class for uniform, and they were never told about that. Anyway, so this is what he said, that how do you then, you as a parent, because again, you're the one who's going to sponsor this career path for these kids, and you don't want to make an investment that is going to go wrong. How do you decipher or differentiate between an excitement or curiosity and real passion in kids who are very young, who are trying to identify themselves? Because his wish, and I'm going to put it in his words, is like, after high school, I don't have to take my kid to university. Because I'd rather invest that money that I'm going to take this kid to university, put them into real life training. Because he's saying, and this is what he said, because I think this one is going to be a mechanic. I do not want to waste money on common courses in university, because the kid is very excited about engines and how they work. But then he's saying, am I gonna waste that money, put this kid in an area, and then later the kid realizes, no, it was just a phase. I was just excited about that particular car. Okay. I want to be a doctor.
And allow me to
Yes.
To make a few corrections
Yes.
on that thought. There is no poor investment in education. We don't go to school to make money. We go to school to learn how to reason and how to become better individuals. It is not about the money.
It's not about the money.
It's not about the money.
Despite the
It is
investment
a skill, number one. Why you are able to pick somebody who is learned and one who is not, amidst of different people, is the way they reason, is the way they do things. That is number one. That's why we go to the university. And this is why we go wrong, because people assume that we are going so that we can get prestigious careers and make money. The bottom line is money. But and that is also one of the mistakes that young people make when they are choosing their careers. The career with money is this one. The career with money, even they ask you direct, nikos gani kona pesa sana.
Which is marketable nowadays.
Yes.
That's what I want to get into, make money.
Yeah. For example, I'm a holder of a diploma in IT that I don't use anymore. But that skill helps me. Before I call a technician to come and work on any of my gadgets or my laptop,
yes,
I have troubleshooted, I've done all that I could have done. And most of the time, I even solve my own problems. So doesn't that skill help me?
It does.
Every day. I am a fluent German speaker. I learned it as a course. I'm a holder of a degree in entrepreneurship, and that is not what I do every time. Every day. Mm-hmm. I am a holder of a long list of courses that I've done. But basically, what do? They help you reason better and become a better individual. So when we tell young people about courses, it is to expand your brain. Your brain is like plastic. It expands.
Yes.
You stop using it, it shrinks. This is why you're taken by your parents to the university. This is why you keep on doing professional development courses, so that you become a better individual. This is why we even do several coaching trainings. I've done a course in transformational leadership. I've done emotional intelligence coaching,
yes,
and all that, and several others, I think around 7 of them. But those are not things that I use every day. That is not what puts bread and butter on my table.
Yes.
But it helps me the way I reason, the way I do things.
Yes.
So if you go with the analogy that this investment is so that I get money. And by the way, another correction.
Yes. Dr.
There is no...
I want you to hold your thought there. Please don't forget that point. Please. And this is the danger that I didn't want to get into, because this is the conversation I wanted to have in a second part. I want us to take a tiny breather. Once we come back, I want you to delve deeper in that area, because that's when
Don't forget, yes, I want to make a comment, yes, on the mechanic. So don't forget.
I will not forget that. Back. In fact, I'll be the one who will be reminding you on that. The conversation is getting interesting. So, James, I hope you're still watching, by the way. And I'm so sorry for having spent 15,500 on uniform alone yesterday. But you hear, take the kid to university. That's what she is saying. Now, the second part of that is especially just talking about investments. The question being, people say, if I'm going to invest in something, then I have to see the output. And that's what Dr. Ekrah is talking about, that the output doesn't necessarily have to be that money. Once we come back, we delve deeper into that conversation so that we know exactly then, as a parent, how do you help them identify then where they want to get into, especially when we're talking about career paths. Hopefully you're still watching us online and Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. I am at Kianga. I'll be sampling some of the comments once we get to the tail end of our conversation right here on Look Up TV. Once we come back, Dr. Ekrah still with us.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design, with branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa. Our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
Usiwahi cheza na mboga yangu. Na unafuata nani? Usisikuone ukinifuata. Nimekwambia huna shares kwa hii kuku.
Look, man. Hebu kwanza rudi ndani ufresh hiyo choo na make sure umespray.
Juli, kwani wewe? Hii tumbo yako mimi najua inaweza ingiza kila kitu. Hata chuma nikishiaga nikupea hata plastic najua utakula. Kwani leo kunaendaje? Kuna kitu sielewi.
Kabisa Mluya. Yaani umeamua kulala uchi?
Sasa kama hakuna ile nguo inanitosha unataka nifanye aje?
Because you are fat.
Sasa ukiongelea mimi ati fat. Na Julie tutasemaje?
Kuja.
Are you a junior secondary school, a college, a TVET institution or a university and you want to advertise your intake? Book now and advertise with us today on both Lookup TV and all our digital platforms. Call us today on 011 0430 158, 011 0430 158 or email us on sales@lookuptv.co.ke.
If you are not taking notes, then I think you're losing out by a big chunk. It's not, and I started like that, it's not normal that on a normal occasion you'll have somebody with 20 years experience into issues career and career paths coming live to you and giving you these conversations. No, it doesn't happen. So that's why I kept on saying, please take out your pens and papers because the conversation is still going on. Before we went on a break, she was cautioning parents, number one, on investing to get money out of the career for your kids. And I know majority of parents actually look for career coaches because they deem education or anything that they put their money in that it must have a return on that investment. But she said, it doesn't have to be money. And I'm going to remind you, Dr. Ekrah as well, you also wanted to talk about the mechanic as well just before we went on break. So could you pick on that as well? As a parent, when you put money into your kid, should the return on investment on the career path that you're investing on them be necessarily money once they come out of university?
Any career path, and remember we even quoted scriptures when we were starting, and any career path is supposed to change lives. Are you changing lives? Are you impacting societies? Are you becoming a legend with what you do every day? Will you be remembered for what you are and what you're doing every day?
Yes.
For example, until today, years later, we will never forget Professor Wangari Maathai. He was an environmentalist. Nobody would have thought that environment is a career. It is something that you can do and you can change lives and you can impact lives forever. So we have people who have impacted people even through speaking. The late Miles Monroe, that was his profession. His profession was inspiration. We have thousands of pastors, but why don't we celebrate them more? We keep on celebrating this legend because they are living the life of impacting other people. That should come first. That what you're doing is changing lives, what you're doing is impacting societies, and what you're doing is leaving the world a better place.
Yes.
That is the choice. Because at the same time as you make money, and this is why the good book is good, because it says all the others shall be added unto you.
Yeah.
So the money will be added unto you.
Yeah.
And allow me to comment on the mechanic. This parent who thinks that mechanic is a dirty job. Sometimes when I pay my mech, sometimes I feel like I should have become a mech.
I'm telling you. That's a common story.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
If there are people who have luxurious life in this city, the mechanics.
I'm telling you. Oof.
Within no time,
Yeah.
the dude gives you an invoice of 60K. The following day, they will not feel ashamed to give you an invoice of 200K. That's a salary of somebody who has worked for a month. And that's just a day, that's just a weekend, and that's just one car. So we are when we talk about the mechanic, we talk about TVET. Hands-on skills and competence. There is money in it. You go around this where you live looking for a plumber, you can't get one. Why? Because all of us want to be in a corner office in a white shirt and a tie.
Yes.
And a suit, which is good, but we can't all fit there. There are people who must become masons, there are people who must become construction guys, there are people who must become waiters and waitresses, we need front office guys, we need people who can do IT, we need people who can do laptop repairs, we need people even who can repair phones. That's one of the biggest industry today. We have, I think, almost each and every Kenyan own a phone. So where do you take it for repairs? So that's a course. It's something that you can do.
Yes.
For somebody who didn't, that's a technician course. For somebody who didn't get those grades, that you can do the prestigious careers.
Yes.
And then the person who got those grades that they are able to do the prestigious careers, they will go to the mechanic for their car to be repaired. Then after that, when they are bored, they will need a musician to entertain them. Then after that, they will need somebody who will take care of their spiritual health. That's the pastor. We are in that generation of mental health and emotional health issues. So the career that you take, make sure it is also not leading you into mental health issues, because you might be in the wrong career.
Yes.
You might be doing something just because it is what you are admitted to do. And you and me have been in high school. We have seen some of our teachers beat us to death. And you wonder, why wouldn't you have compassion? Why wouldn't you be patient? Because naturally you're not supposed to be in that profession. Perhaps you'd have fit best in the military. Perhaps you'd have fit best in the police force. That's your personality.
Yes.
You have zero patience for issues. You have zero compassion, so you can't be that. For example, if you get somebody who is so talkative becoming an accountant, then my friend, you will know when you're not being paid. the dude during lunchtime will be telling you guys, this month ni kubaya. So that's why we are talking about professions and personalities.
Yeah.
They are very, very critical and they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
You'll find another person trying to do marketing and the person cannot even introduce themselves in front of people, because marketing, you will have 1,001 associates for you to make sales.
That's true.
So you need to have that people's personality. Interpersonal skills need to come out naturally. You need not to struggle. And becoming the best you and being who you are is one of the best things that will not lead to mental health issues, because you're doing what you are, you're just being you, you're just being the person that you're supposed to be. I'm sure even over the weekend, wherever you're seated, you're the one who asks the most questions in a round table. I've not been there, but I can tell.
That's me.
That's you, because basically...
I'm a conversation starter.
Yes, because basically that's who you are.
Yeah.
You will just be here and you will hear you asking, why did you choose orange cover instead of white?
It's true.
You need to know, because basically that is who you are. You're looking for news, even where there are no news, because naturally that is who you That's who you are. You'll find that you're the most informed person. Within no time, you're the person who can remember names, because naturally, that is what the talent that you got. And you're happy and you're proud to be who you are every day. So if everybody was to do the same in their profession, we would get very excellent services wherever we go, because people are happy with what they do each and every day. So the Form 4 leavers who just left school, and those who left the other year, and they are still confused and wondering what to do with themselves. And I have practical case studies. I've been a career coach for several years, and sometimes I ask for permission to share stories so that they become a point of learning. I had a young man at Loggerheads with his parents, gone south. And at 24, he had not yet graduated, and the family was now mad with him. They can afford, he had been taken to 4 universities. Then the parent met somebody and told them, can you talk to this lady? And the mother would not believe that the guy can come and see me. I just told him, can you give me his number? I don't know him, but if I call him, he will come. The mother was like, no, he doesn't listen to anybody, he can't. But I know how to talk to young people. And the following day, he was in my office. The errant boy, the boy that I'm being told he can't listen, he can't listen. At 24, he has never graduated. Parents are disappointed. He has been to 4 universities and colleges. But the parents wanted to bring out an architect in him. True, he had the grades to become an architect.
Yes.
But during break time, he was always hanging around with guys who are doing BCom. Then we sat down, did our personality test, everything, and I told him, do you know you're such a gifted businessman? This is why you cannot sit and think on drawing. And I called the parents and told them, allow me to take him back to the university right now, because he has agreed. Talked to a vice chancellor, and he was admitted in the middle of the semester.
Yes.
He's finishing campus as the campus president because he's doing what he loves most. The errant student, the most organized, running his father's business, already setting up a company, and it's gonna be big. I won't mention, but it's gonna be big. It's already crazy. Organizing entrepreneurship projects in the university because he's doing what he loves most. Every day he's excited, traveling to Germany, wherever. For project, the same guy who was sinking the mother into blood pressure and depression. Why some of the parents are at loggerheads with their young people, and why even the young people are doing drugs? They are running into something because nobody can listen to what they want. So they are expressing their frustrations. So sometimes before you judge and before you underline and say this one has become a drug addict, this one has become this one does not listen, this one cannot be assisted, cannot be helped. Can you find out whether they are frustrated with what they do every day, whether they are doing what they love most? Because it comes without effort.
So I've got this other question again, even as we wait for your coffee. Your coffee was supposed to come. I hope our director is going to talk to the director. So here's the beauty of the next question that I want to ask. The people say, yes, I got into a career. I got excited about it. But on the sidelines of this, I picked a skill set that I really got good at. And I think the skill set is giving me money, even more than my main hustle, which is the career that I took. So the question is this, Dr. Ekrah. If in the process of you doing your job or following this career path, you realize that you've picked a skill set that is earning you way more money than your main hustle. Question being, do I then officially change my career path based on the skill set that I've learned in the process of me following the other side? Because at the end of the day, it's got to be about the money, the the comfort it gives you, the way it allows you to settle good in life. How do you talk to somebody like that? And this question is coming from somebody who's maybe way deeper into this career path that they followed.
Career path keep on changing. I was not a career coach 10 years ago. Today, I am one. I've been a German teacher for the many years. And today, I am very passionate about helping young people with their careers. Tomorrow, I might be a leadership coach. That is what will be exciting me. Because it is normal. It is normal to be dynamic, and it's normal to keep on changing. But don't drop. This is what I keep on telling even young people that I talk to.
Yes.
Even if you chat something and you find something that is giving you what you can be, keep on improving yourself. Remember what I said. We don't go to school, we don't go to college, we don't go to the university so that we make money. We go so that we expand our brains and we better our reasoning skills. So whatever you're doing, finish up with the course and keep doing what you're doing. For how long will it exist? It's just like every cycle of election, there are jobs that come up for university students, maybe becoming a poll clerk and what.
Yeah.
If you drop at the university because of that seasonal, cyclical kind of profession, because these are cyclical professions.
Yes.
Like during COVID season, there is a cyclical profession that came in, virtual assistant. It became big because everybody, every CEO, every leader needed somebody to help them virtually with what they were doing. When you're having those virtual meetings, somebody to take notes, somebody to set up the links, somebody to do everything. But when COVID left, of course, the percentage of the need for such a profession went down. So you can't stop what you're doing because of something that has come up all of a sudden, because for how long will it exist? Remember when we were starting, I talked about the 5th Industrial Revolution, and majority of the professions that will be phased out because of automation and the changes and the need. For example, I don't see whether in the next 20 years we will have bank tellers, because we are all bankers, including Mama Boga. How is Mama Boga a banker? They have an equity agent, they have a kiosk and everything, and they have a bank agency. So we don't need a teller. Even when you walk into the most banking halls today, you don't find as many tellers as they are used to be.
Yeah.
The work has been led to the IT department, and because of things becoming automated. So the same thing will happen to other professions, but there are things that there must be human interaction, like supplies, marketing. The robots will not be able to do all that. And today, this is a profession that is coming up. We don't have very many, we don't even have a lot of robotic courses across Africa. But the future is headed there. There's nothing that we can do, because you can't stop an idea whose time has come. We have a lot of resources around Africa. So we will need a lot of people, innovators, people who will come up with ideas how we are going to multiply these resources and become better as a continent. So when we look at careers, it is not just the conventional careers that we used to know, that a teacher and this and this and this and that. Today we have pre-recorded courses that you can teach yourself anything right now. You can do whatever course that you want to do. Some are even accessible for free.
Yes.
We have a lot of free courses in Udemy, Allison's, Google University, YouTube University. You can train yourself anything that you'd love to learn. But at the same time, we still need that order of a school system. This is why schools are still existing. So the same case happens with careers. Doesn't matter whether you're getting something new. You must still keep on doing what you started. And this goes especially to our college students and university students, because the youth bubble is normal. It is normal to feel like you have gotten it. It's normal to feel a eureka moment. You've discovered something that has not been discovered before, and then you end up dropping your courses, and in 5 years you regret.
Yes.
Some even drop to go for jobs that have come up. There's a company that is setting up, and I won't mention the companies, but there are companies that came during our season. without mentioning their names. And a lot of students dropped from school
to go join the companies.
To go join these prestigious international companies, the big companies across Africa today. And after the companies settled in, do you know what they said? Bring your CVs and your papers. So those who dropped out of campus, because at that time they were looking for faces and the image to sell the brand and to sell the. So let our young people not be found in that youth bubble.
Yes.
When the bubble comes, run with it, but keep doing what you're supposed to be doing until you finish.
Yes, stick to it as well.
Yes.
Now, and this is a general question that I was asked to put to you as well. If you look at where we are in as much as our curriculum, education curriculum is concerned, it's now that we're even introducing CBC in schools, which is competency-based. That we're looking at the specific skill sets of these kids, and we're going to grow them so that it's easier for them then to identify exactly what they want to get into. But aside from that, Dr. Ekrah, do you think that our curriculum itself here, if we're going to talk about introducing proper careers, people who know exactly what it is that they want, and people who are ready to join the market with their skill sets and their passion as well, do you think career path and training on how to identify your career path, it's something that should be offered as a course in our education system, so that we have people and kids who are coming out of university, who are coming out of primary schools, who are coming out of universities, knowing exactly how to identify, like they have a skill to let them know what they like, what they're going to get into, what indeed they're going to choose. Is that what it is?
Actually, there is a department that we call post-skills department in the Ministry of Education, and that is its work. Today, it is mandatory that every institution must have a career services department. It is a policy. Is only that it is being implemented. Even in our TVET institutions, we've been doing a lot of trainings on career services for the TVET institutions, and so that when these young people come, they are guided to the path correctly. And if you look at the history of our education system the last 10 years, we trained people for jobs that didn't exist. What do I mean by training people for jobs that didn't exist? We could graduate 10,000 business administration students to go and work where and for who? Where were those places that they would work? Whereas the skills that we needed, we didn't even have courses like sound engineering. Like today, for us to be here on air and for the listener to listen to us, it's not just you. There's an engineer at the back who is making sure that that sound is perfect, it's audible, it's good, making sure that animation is proper so that the viewer can see the image of Lookup TV as it wants to be portrayed out there. So those are skills and competence. Those are people who have done diploma programs in such trainings. And if this was to be implemented, then we'd become the first world. Some of the countries that are big in terms of career is America is big because we have leveraged with it. Germany is big. Germany does not even capitalize on university education. It's all technical. You need to be able to do something. And there was a time my father was making a joke. He used to work at East Africa Industries. You tell us that the whole factory would be at standstill until a German shows up. You'd be standstill in the factory for 2 hours. Why is the German showing up? He's the only plant engineer that you have. So everything has stopped.
Until he comes.
You guys and your ties, you're just seated and you can't produce until this guy shows up.
Yes.
And if we are to become a productive nation, if we are to become an industrialized nation, that's basically where we should channel our interest, and we should channel our young people to be. That I need to come and look for you for your skill. Because what you can do, nobody else can be able to do that. And that automatically comes with money. because it comes with your excellence, and the money will automatically follow you. Because if you're an expert in something, then we can't pay you for anything for becoming that expert, because we need you. We are not having you because it is just you. It is because you have something special that nobody else got. If every young person, if everybody was to make themselves an expert in what they do and to love and to do it with passion, then life becomes very easy. We would eradicate joblessness, because we are not just producing for jobs that don't exist. And when the hub came, by that time we had Dr. Dina as the PS for TVET, for our sector. He looked for us and told me, SG, please get us 300 people who can be professional retail attendants. The first joke was, PS, what is professional retail attendant? True to it, it's not a profession we had before. We didn't know that these multinationals and these big brands, Marks and the others, they want to employ people who are professional retail attendants. Do you know the only person who had such courses? Tuskys. Unfortunately, they closed. They had to source for staff from Tuskys supermarket. And we have institutions here graduating people every day, but for jobs that do not exist. So we need to be in line with research, proper research, what is the market trends and the jobs and the people that we are producing. And that is the research, the same thing that people need to look for when they are looking for courses. Around that time was the season for SGR.
Yes.
We imported 4,000 welders as a country. Why? Because the welders that we train in this country, they don't know how to do steel welding. We do windows and doors, and we add there. So there is a lot of opportunity in terms of courses. Today, having had an ailing mom and having had an aged parent and having a huge middle class in this this country, that means we need caregivers. Are we producing caregivers, or everybody is just going for the normal professions? And other countries are importing such labor, Canada, wherever, Germany, importing from all over the world, because these are skills that are needed to take care of the aged and the sickly. But do we have such courses? Do we have such trainings? We have had people with handicapped or disability doing their basic education, going to high school. Do we have courses for them when it comes to college and when it comes to university? So the gaps are there in terms of profession, and what is the demand out there?
Yes.
But are we matching this demand for the careers, and are we matching it with the people that we are producing? Are people looking out for enough information? Before choosing a career, do a proper research. Take your time. It's not something to do in a hurry, because you're going to do it for the rest of your life.
Dr. Ekrah, thank you very much for coming by. I mean, when you look at that presentation by itself, it should make you start thinking as a parent, what am I really doing? Are my kids somewhere? Am I ready for their career path? Do they know what that is? So it's just about investing in their education. Please invest in their career paths as well. Take her back to the time that she joined us this morning at Look Up TV, right here on the Morning Drift at Look Up TV, across all your social media platforms. Myself, I am at Kinyagesimba. Guess what? I'll be calling her back again. We've just scratched it. I know. I didn't even get time to look at the comments. That's how you know the discussion was also that deep to the point that I was getting educated myself. We take a tiny breather. Once we come back, Ian Ketani and I will be joining you shortly. We'll be looking at exactly what is trending and what we'll be focusing on in our newsroom today. Good morning.
Revival Sanctuary School is open for 2023 admission. We offer CBC classes from playgroup, PP1, PP2, grade 1 to 6, and the 844 curriculum from standard 7 to 8. Do not miss out the opportunity